Ni hao, my friends. We have been learning a lot about ancient China and about ancient India, and we are all finished with our unit. We have learned everything that we're going to learn this year about ancient India and ancient China, and we learned a lot of really cool, fun stuff. Today, we're going to review a little bit about what we learned. I'm going to use our chart that we've been working on and adding to review some of our important things about ancient China. The first thing I want to talk about is religion. We didn't talk a lot about religion, Chinese religion, but we did talk about how Buddhism, even though it started in India, spread to China thanks to the work of Ashoka. We talked about cities a little bit. Just like in Mohenjo-daro, cities had walls and buildings where people lived and worked. In those cities, one of the most important jobs was farming. This is a picture of a farm along the Yellow River. The Yellow River was fertile, just like the Indus River. All that water made that soil fertile, so crops were able to grow very well. The Yangtze River was also good for growing crops, especially rice. We talked about the very first emperor of China. His name was Emperor Qin Shi Huang, or Emperor Qin. Emperor Qin decided that he wanted to build a wall to protect the people in northern China from being attacked by the invaders from the north. Those invaders were stealing their animals, food, and gold. And there were some walls that were built to protect them, but they didn't do a very good job. So Qin Shi Huang ordered the Great Wall to be built. It took a lot of people and a lot of time. We talked a lot about writing. We talked a lot about Chinese writing in this unit. I've got some on my board I'll show you in just a minute. Chinese writing is different than the writing that we do in school in America. In Chinese writing, instead of letters, they use characters or symbols for different words. There are a lot of symbols in the Chinese language, over 56,000. But most people only use about 8,000 in their everyday lives. So that's still a lot of symbols to remember. Chinese writing is very beautiful and is sometimes created as an art form called calligraphy. Alright, my friends, I'm going to show you my Chinese writing up on the board. That is Chinese for ni hao, which is what I said when I started this video. Remember, ni hao means hello in Chinese. Alright, my friends, I'm going to show you a map, and we're going to talk about some places that we learned about, and then we're going to move on and do something a little bit silly. Alright, my friends, we have been talking about a lot of ancient civilizations in a specific continent. Which continent have we been talking about? You've got it. It's the continent Asia. I know this map is a little bit hard to see on my board. I'm going to add it to the assignment as a PDF as well. I want you to look through our map. I'm going to, as I review, some of these places that we've talked about and learned about. The first place that we talked about, the first country that we talked about in Asia, was the country India. Remember, ancient India is a little bit different than what India looks like now. Ancient India, outlined here in orange, includes modern-day India, which ends right here, and modern-day Pakistan. Today, Pakistan is its own country, but way back when, it was part of India. In India, we talked about the tallest mountain range in the world. That mountain range is the Himalayan mountains. The Himalayan mountains were very important to civilization in ancient India because there were two important rivers that flowed down from the mountains. Remember, the snow from the mountains would mix with spring rains and often caused one of these rivers to flood. That river, the first one we talked about, is the Indus River. Along the banks of the Indus River, one of our first ancient Indian civilizations was formed. That was the city of Mohenjo-Daro. People were able to create a civilization on the banks of the Indus River because the water left the soil fertile. Fertile means that it had all of the nutrients that plants need to grow up big and strong, which meant that people could farm. Farming was a very important job in ancient India because without farming, people wouldn't have food or clothing, and people need those things to be able to survive. The other river that comes down from the Himalayan mountains is the Ganges River. The Ganges River is a very important river to a certain group of people. Who is the Ganges River important to? You've got it. The Ganges River is important to Hindu people, or people who practice Hinduism. The Ganges River is a sacred place to Hindus because they believe that it is the earth home of the river goddess Ganga, and that their sins or wrongdoings are washed away in the river. Our second country that we talked about is a very large country and the most populous one in the world, meaning more people live there than anywhere else. It is outlined here in purple. This country is China. Just like in ancient India, there is an important range in China that two rivers flow from that we learned about also. This mountain range in China is called the Bayan Kala Mountains. These mountains are the Bayan Kala Mountains. They are big, tall mountains, not quite as tall as the Himalayas, but they are big mountains as well. The first river that comes from the Bayan Kalas that we talked about is the Yellow River. This is a river that's on the north part of China. Can you tell me why we call the Yellow River the Yellow River? We call it the Yellow River because it's actually yellow in color. What makes the river turn yellow? You've got it. Silt, which is a mixture of clay and sand, mixes into the water of the river and turns it a muddy yellow color. The Yellow River is also called China's Great Sorrow because it often floods and causes great destruction. Another nickname is Mother River because it is life-giving. Its waters are life-giving, just like the Indus River in India. The soil around the river is fertile and good for growing crops. The second river that we talked about in ancient China is the Yangtze River, which is the longest river in China. The Yangtze River is sometimes called China's rice bowl because the climate around the river is perfect for growing rice. Rice is China's main farming product. Most of the world's rice comes from China, and a lot of it comes from the Yangtze River Valley, where rice grows very well. All right, my friends, I'm going to review some of the things that we learned about. In order to review, I'm going to play almost charades and almost a picture version of charades. I'm going to draw or act out different things that we learned about, and I want you to see if you can guess what thing that we learned about that I am acting out or drawing. Now, Miss Hill is not a very good artist, but I'm going to do my best anyway, so we'll see if you can guess even though my drawings are not very good. All right, friends, let's get started. All right, friends, let's try this first one. I'm going to act out this first one a little bit. This is something that we learned about in ancient China. What do you think I'm doing? I was imitating Chinese block printing. Remember, in block printing, they had to carve the blocks to make them look like stamps, and then dip them in ink to create pages of different books. But they had to carve a whole block for each individual page, which took a long time. Let's try another one. All right. That was the invention of paper. Remember, before the Chinese invented paper, they tried writing on metal, and on wood, and on cloth, and bone, and it took several tries before they were able to create a surface that was usable. The paper that they first created was too tough to write on, and they used it for armor instead, and regular clothing too. So it took several tries, but they didn't give up until they had invented a surface that could be easily written on, which was paper. All right, friends, I'm going to try drawing one now. See if you can guess what I'm drawing. What do you think? I drew a blue river, but then I added this kind of orangey brownish color. What river do you think I was trying to draw? The yellow river, because it has that yellow color because of all the silt inside of it. Let's do another one. Let's see. What do you think? What was I trying to draw there? I was pretending that my regular paintbrush was a magic paintbrush that brought this person that I've drawn to life. All right. Let's see. Let's do another drawing one. Let's see. A little bit lower so we don't have that glare. What do you think? I told you my drawing skills are not the best, but I drew our first emperor of China, Qin Shi Huang, ordering the Great Wall of China to be built. How long did it take the Great Wall of China to be built? Did it happen just in a couple of years? No, it took over 1,500 years to be finished. So Qin Shi Huang was not ever able to see it finished, but he's the one that started it. Why was the Great Wall of China built originally? It was built to keep out northern invaders that were stealing animals and food and gold from Chinese people. They had some walls, but none that were connected or that did a very good job of protecting them. So Qin Shi Huang ordered the Great Wall to be built. All right, my friends, go ahead and open the PDF that is attached to this assignment. When you open that up in Kami, it should look like this. On this assignment, we have learned a lot of different things about ancient China and ancient India. On this assignment, I want to know how much you remember from what we've learned. So how this is going to work, in this box at the very top, I have some words. These are important key words that we of things that we have been learning about. These are our important things or places that we have been learning about. In our box, we have the Ganges River, Confucius, Hinduism, China, Mohenjo-daro, Diwali, Chinese New Year, Buddhism, and the Great Wall of China. What we are going to do, there are 9 statements about these things. We are going to match the statement to the thing that it is about. I will read each of these statements for you, and I will give you some time to use your text box to pick a word from the box and type it. Which word am I describing? We'll use our text box for this one. So for question number 1, I will not repeat the statements, but if you need some more time to finish typing or to finish thinking about it, go ahead and pause the video and finish typing and then play when you're ready for the next one. Number 1 says, "This is a sacred place to Hindu people where they believe that their sins or wrongdoings are washed away." Is that the Ganges River, Diwali, Confucius, Chinese New Year, Hinduism, Buddhism, China, the Great Wall of China, or Mohenjo-daro? Number 2. This religion was started in ancient India by the Buddha. This religion was started in ancient India by the Buddha. Which of these words belongs there? Number 3. This is the country where paper, fireworks, and seed drills were invented. Number 4. This is a Hindu festival celebrating the goodness of people. It is also known as the Festival of Lights. Which of our words from our box does that sentence describe? Number 5. This man spent his life educating the people of China about how to treat others and spread kindness. Number 6. People in this religion worship over 3,000 gods and goddesses. Number 7. This was originally built to keep invaders out, but is now a tourist attraction. Number 9. On this holiday, oh, sorry friends, I skipped number 8. Number 8, not number 9, number 8. This early Indian civilization was built on the banks of the Indus River. That was number 8. This early Indian civilization was built on the banks of the Indus River. And now number 9. On this holiday, dragons, lions, and the color red represent good luck or fortune. All right, my friends, you may go back and listen to any of those questions that you need to again. When you have all of the words from the box filled in under one of those statements, go ahead and turn it in, and you are done for today.